Hey YouTube, how you going? Welcome to another video on the Vegan Brothers channel. My brother James will be back with some more content soon. He's just been super busy with work, travel and living the life. So it's up to me to keep pumping out the videos. But I went for a run this morning, 32 odd Ks, very hilly course, and I just kind of, as I do when I run, came up with a few more video ideas, so I thought I'd put one out this morning. And that is, do you have to eat fat, or should I eat fat to run fast? I mean, I don't even know why this is a topic, but I have seen it come up on various running forums and all this kind of stuff. People actually believe that they will run fast eating fat. It is completely absurd in my opinion, and I mean, it's so clear as day. If you would run fast eating fat, why aren't, you know, companies like Powerade or any of these energy gel companies and that selling like fat drinks, or, you know, buy this bar that's like 90% fat? No, they don't do that. It's silly. All of the energy drinks, energy gels, everything like that people use in marathons, ultra marathons, endurance events, etc., they all have one common link. They are high carb, low fat. And the reason why is because when you are doing events, your body can only store a certain number of carbohydrates in your muscles and liver, and if you want to exercise beyond 2 hours, which is the typical duration that they say, you need to consume carbohydrates or you bonk, which essentially means you run out of energy, you start going into using 100% fat, and you slow down, and then eventually you reach a point where you're so completely spent that you can't even really walk. There's a lot of videos on there. There's a famous one from a triathlon, I can't remember where it is, but this guy just absolutely is like dying. He's like literally crawling to the finish line because his body is so depleted of carbohydrates, he just can't sustain any pace. So, I mean, the notion that, you know, you should eat fat to run fast, as I said, is completely absurd. Obviously, when you're doing endurance events, your body does burn a certain portion of fat as your total energy for its energy, but it still relies on carbohydrates. And then people say, oh, so we do burn fat, so therefore I should eat fat. No, 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 you don't need to do that. Even people who have a low body fat percentage, you know, going into a race or whatever the case may be, they've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours worth of energy. You know, even if they're someone with 6, 7%, 8% body fat, they've got hundreds of hours of energy in body fat. So essentially it's unlimited, because you're not going to run for like 300 hours non-stop or whatever. But your carbohydrate content in your body is limited. That's why you need to replace it. And there was a video, and you can Google it or YouTube it, the Raw Bras, you know, they did this stupid video it was quite a while back, maybe even up to a year now, where they bought these bikes from REI, and then they were going to do this massive bike ride, and they actually were eating sticks of butter and putting butter in their coffee because they thought it would help them. Anyway, you know, they ended up getting on a train to finish their journey because they couldn't ride any further. That's just one example of the kind of stupidity that you see out there with people believing you need to eat fat to perform on an athletic level. Another example that I saw on a forum, and I really do wish I kept the article, someone was kind of having a bit of a war with me of words, and they said, oh, you know, there was this endurance runner who eats there was this endurance runner, they were saying, who eats a high-fat, low-carb diet. And they said, yeah, and he went out and he ran this race and he did really well, and, you know, surely that shows that it can be done. And I was like, all right, well, I'll read the guy's article, you know, if you want me to. So went on to this guy's website, and as I said, I wish I did keep it. And fair enough, he was saying that his diet typically was high fat. He still ate a lot more carbs than people who are low carbers eat. Anyway, I went to his race report and thought, oh, well, this is going to be interesting. First 2-3 lines, he's talking about the energy gels that he's packing to take to the race and going to run with the race, and then you read through the report and he's like, yeah, I had an energy gel, you know, every 30 minutes or whatever. And I'm like, hang on a minute, what's the brand? Look it up, and it's high carb. You know, it's full of simple sugars, which is carbohydrates. And I said to this guy, on this forum, I wrote to him, I said, dude, I've just read the guy's blog. A, he's not super low carb like you said he is in day-to-day life, although he does eat more fat than probably I would recommend. But I said, you go to his race report and he's talking about eating nothing but carbohydrates. You know, and the night before he's eating carbohydrates and all this stuff. And the guy goes, oh yeah, but like, yeah, like, he eats fat though. And I said, yeah, he may eat more fat, but he ain't eating fat when he's running, which is the whole point of this argument. So, don't be fooled out by people out there on like internet forums who like use all this like bro science and crap that they make up, or stuff that they don't actually understand, or they've just read like a portion of something and then blown it up to be this big thing. And I mean, just to kind of cut it short, sharp and sweet, there's a couple of things that we can look at to kind of prove this is wrong. Out of all the countries in the world that have sports departments and like, you know, a ministry of the sport or, you know, athletics association, you know, they spend millions of dollars on researching the ways to make sure their athletes win gold at the Olympics or the World Championships or something. Don't you think, out of all those people and all those countries and all that money being spent, if fat was a performance-enhancing food, that they would be feeding people fat beforehand and fat during a race and fat after, you know what I mean? Like fat gels and fat sticks while they're running along. But you don't see that. Every marathon, every cyclist, you know, all these sports, they're chugging back Powerade drinks, which are full of sugar and carbohydrates, or they're sucking on, you know, energy gels, which, let's see what it says here. Energy, protein, 0. Carbs, 22 grams. Fat, 0. All carb. So there's that. And then B, you can do this yourself. And I have actually done this, you know, on a day where I was feeling kind of lazy. I actually had, I don't eat a high-fat diet at all. I eat a high-carb diet, but one day I was just so run out of time, everything like that. Didn't have as much fruit in the cupboard, in the pantry as I would like, and I just like, oh, I'll just have a peanut butter sandwich because, you know, that's all I've got. And I had it, and later that day I had to go for a run. Man, I was so sluggish. My legs were like lead, and it completely feels different to when you're smashing in the carbs, you're smashing in the fruit, you feel lighter, you've got more energy, and you can just go. So if you don't believe it, do that test, have a high-fat day, keep it vegan of course, but have a high-fat day, then try and do a hard run. I'm not talking about like a little slow 5K, like little walk, jog thing. Go out and do some sprint work, or go and do a hard run for an hour, and see how you feel, and you'll feel like rubbish. Anyway, that's the video for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment below, and we'll see you next time.